anxiety issues, sleeping problems, moving problems, eating problems, psychological issues. Trust me, I'm totally there. And it's helped me a lot with all those things. And since I can't take regular medication, it has been the game changer for me.
Welcome to the Well with Cannabis podcast, a show dedicated to telling the life-changing stories of those who live well with cannabis, all while teaching you how to do the same. Meet your host, Emily Kyle, a registered dietitian nutritionist turned certified holistic cannabis practitioner. Emily changed her life for the better with the help of the cannabis plant, and now she is committed to helping others do the same. Tune in each week to hear heartwarming stories and gain the knowledge you need to feel connected, inspired, and supported on your own cannabis journey. Whether you're a new cannabis consumer or a lifetime lover, you'll benefit from these uplifting tales of real-life journeys that will show you how you too can live your best life well with cannabis.
Before we jump into today's episode, I wanted to share a note on potentially sensitive content. The episodes on the Well with Cannabis podcast are created for adult audiences only. We will at times cover sensitive topics, including but not limited to suicide, abuse, mental illness, sex, drugs, alcohol, psychedelics, and the obvious use of plant medicine. Explicit language may be used occasionally. Please refrain from watching or listening to the show if you're likely to be offended or adversely impacted by any of these topics. The information on this show is for informational and educational purposes only. It does not constitute medical advice. If any of the content on this podcast has brought up anything for you, please reach out or speak to a professional or someone you trust. Hello, welcome back to another episode of the Well with Cannabis podcast, and I'm so excited to be here with our guest today, Miss Dusty Crystal, and we are going to be talking about all things cannabis, and we're going to be talking about anxiety, PTSD, and kind of how cannabis in the medical side can help with those things. So Dusty, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
I appreciate you coming here and taking the time to talk with us about, you said, your favorite subject, which is cannabis. Can you start kind of at the beginning and give us a little background about who you are and kind of what led you to cannabis?
Oh, well, my name is Dusty Crystal. I was actually led to cannabis by my family, ironically enough.
Awesome.
I have a lot of family members that have cancer. And one of the newest things, was really scary because nobody really wants to accept cannabis as being good. But I was working, with mostly my dad on finding new ways on pain relief, and nothing was working. The prescriptions kept getting more expensive, more difficult to find. And then the dosages kept going up, which means the price kept going up. And it got to the point where he couldn't even find some of the stuff that he was needing without literally spending upwards of now over $10,000 for one treatment.
Poor thing. Oh.
That's just for pain relief. That's not for any of the other stuff.
Oh.
So, flash forward about maybe a few. And I was like, I think I might be able to help you. And he's like, well, I'll take anything at this point. And I'm like, well, I know I've heard a lot of really good things about something called CBD. And it's part of cannabis. And, it does a lot of really good things for folks that got cancer. I figure, what's the worst that can happen? I mean, you're already got cancer,
Yeah.
So I talked to his doctor about it, and the doctor's like, that's brilliant. I think we'll definitely do that.
Wow. You don't usually hear of doctors being like that. That's awesome.
Oh, no, it gets better. He consults with me to this day on dosing other people that I don't even know on good doses, best doses, what the percentage is, and how it breaks down.
That's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, so I've been educating people who have, been doing professional stuff for other folks for quite a while now. I know that it works really well for me. I've been really grateful to be, having access to it. I was using it before it was considered legal. But it wasn't for a lack of trying. It was just because I can't take any conventional medication. I'm allergic to Tylenol and aspirin.
Oh, no.
So I can't find relief from things like that. I also have arthritis. I have carpal tunnel. There's a lot of things that kind of slow me down. And as I've gotten older, it's slowing me down more. So I'm like, well, it's okay. I can adjust. There's different doses, there's different ways, there's different things. And then when I discovered that I could introduce cannabis in the cooking, oh man, that was a game changer. And now I can literally put it in everything.
Oh my gosh, how exciting.
Yeah. So it's been one of those really great things because it's like it doesn't have any weird smell. It's not scary, and if it's on an everyday, normally you're going to consume it anyways. Okay. It's good for you. You'll be fine, and it also relieves things like my anxiety. I have anxiety from being in the military for over 8 years.
Oh my gosh, thank you for your service.
Yeah. I was a financial specialist and assigned to a bunch of Green Berets, and no female to be found in that group.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was kind of overwhelming at first because, hey, we're going to war. And it's like, okay, we're going where?
I can't even imagine.
Yeah, ended up with PTSD from that mess. It wasn't easy being in the military and not being able to find any sort of pain relief.
Yeah, nothing, right?
Yeah, all they want to do is just give you drugs that ultimately have more side effects than benefits. How is that helping?
Right.
So now that I live where I do, a lot of the laws and stuff have become a lot more positive, and they're starting to talk more and more about initializing new rules and new laws that can expand to other states.
What state are you in right now?
Washington.
Oh, okay. So you have lots of options out in Washington.
A lot more than some other states. I talked to some folks that are like in Indiana where they don't have any at all, or Ohio where it's only medical, no recreational, no intermingling, which means you have to be a state resident and have a prescription from your doctor, not some random whatever. You can't just call 1-800-Canadoc. It doesn't exist out there. And no one else is allowed to use it in any other form. You can't even grow it because it's considered a medical blah, blah, or whatever. And I'm like, you guys obviously don't know how medical works if that is the way that you're restricting it. You have no idea the properties or the chemicals involved that actually benefit people. And not just people like me, but everyone. It's one of those things that really, has helped a lot. I used to have really bad night terrors because of, dealing with the military and whatnot.
Yeah.
Counseling wasn't working. Traditional over-the-counter stuff I'm allergic to, and they're like, well, don't go off and kill yourself, but there's really not much we can do. Have you considered maybe talk therapy? And I'm like, there's only so much talking I can do before people just don't understand what I'm saying. It's impossible to get relief from mental anguish when the people that are supposed to be helping you are ill-prepared and ill-educated and unknowledgeable of everything that I went through, that any of us veterans have gone through. They never served anything in the military. They don't know what it's like to do anything like that. So they're doing more now. The government anyways is trying to talk more positively about positing into expanding it for federal. And that would be the best. you know, and that way everybody can, use it and benefit from it. And, the other best thing I've really enjoyed about it is that you don't have to worry about overdosing.
Truly, absolutely. You can use as much as you need.
Unlike alcohol, which can make you forget that you're hurting, but you're still in pain.
Yeah.
Not to mention deplete your finances way faster. There's no negative side effects from cannabis, except for maybe the munchies.
Or a long nap, they're so few and far between.
Yeah, but it has multiple uses too. It can help for if you want to cut your grass in the morning.
Yeah.
You know how badly your body is going to take a beating. You're going to be saying words that ain't that right. And there's only so much water time in the shower that you can get hot for and actually be able to do anything for the rest of your day. You can't live in the shower.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if you have a sativa that has a little CBD in your system, oh my goodness, you do the yard and not feel like you've done yard for 3 days. Your hands don't get swollen. Vibration of pushing the lawnmower or dealing with the weed whacker or pulling the weeds, because some of them are really crappy. It's basic stuff like that folks just, I guess, don't really think about, that it can actually benefit them.
Oh my gosh, I know. I'm always telling people, people come to cannabis for one thing, whether it be pain relief or anxiety relief, but they find all of these other really amazing benefits that come along with it that really help to improve your overall quality of life in a way that you didn't even know was possible.
Well, it also helps me increase my appetite. I'm hypoglycemic, so getting hungry is hard. I usually am nauseous most of the day. So trying to get an appetite when you're not feeling that great on top of it, that just fights the whole thing. So I have to have reminders and stuff to remind me to eat. And even then, it's a struggle. I take a few bites and I'm like, ugh, But if I have some cannabis in my system, I can actually have a meal. I am actually hungry. I'm not feeling nauseated. I have a little bit more energy. I can tolerate moving. Huzzah.
Yes. And then hopefully your food feels a little bit more enjoyable when you're consuming it then too.
Not to mention the fact is, if you're already struggling with nausea, keeping your food down is the biggest struggle.
Oh my gosh, I can't even imagine.
So trying to breathe through all that, on top of being anxious, on top of being in pain, on top of really, how many things can you put in one body?
I know, it's terrible. But on the other hand, I'm like, oh my gosh, thank God for cannabis, which can hopefully touch as many of those as possible.
Yeah, it helps with insomnia, which I have issues with. I know I'm just a mess. But, I know I'm not alone. Anyone who's ever lived past 20 knows what it's like to be an adult for 5 minutes and know how much of a pain, literally, it can be. You have anxiety about going to work, anxiety about missing work, anxiety about going to sleep, anxiety about getting sleep. Am I going to be able to have enough food to buy at the grocery store? Am I going to be hungry enough to buy the food or eat the food that I am, getting at the grocery store? There's just so many variables, and it's okay, how can I get, cannabis. I can do this.
I can do this. Absolutely. It's like that little vote of confidence in the back of your mind that's I can get this done.
Absolutely. And, because of that, it also allows me to go to work,
Absolutely.
So I can interact with the public and actually get paid. It sounds like a little thing and something that you really shouldn't have to think about. But when you're dealing with PTSD, anxiety, or just in general movement, it's how much energy do you expect me to have? How much attention, am I going to actually drain out of me to get to the car?
Yeah.
And if you have fibro or something or some other issues, joint pain, muscle pain, human pain, it all helps, and there's so many different ways of consuming and using cannabis that folks that can't smoke it or don't like the idea of how it tastes, that's okay. Cannabis has you covered.
Yes, absolutely. And I don't know if you do the same thing, but based on how I'm feeling, I like to adjust how I use my cannabis as well. It's nice to be able to adjust the dose or the strain or the application method so that however you're feeling in the moment, you can really address that. Do you have the same experience?
Absolutely. I actually have doses set up for my day throughout. I know my mornings are going to be super busy, so I have a dose appropriate for that. I know my afternoons are going to be so hectic. I'm not going to have time to think about using the bathroom. That's okay. I got a dose for that. And then in the afternoon when things have really gotten crazy and traffic is nuts and you're wanting to say things not that good. Cannabis helps deal with all that. So, it's like, oh, this is great. I'm not going to prison. I'm going home. Yay. For cannabis.
Absolutely. It really is. Oh my gosh. It just makes all the regular daily activities just more tolerable and more enjoyable for sure.
Absolutely. And not to mention the fact that, if you've ever had a chance to grow it, how much fun it is to pull it.
Let's talk about this a little bit. For anyone who's never grown, I always tell them it's so magical. You telling your experience what it's like growing a plant.
Oh man, it's great. I'm happy to have a green thumb. So there's that.
Yay.
Right. But I was that kid that went along and found seeds and I was like, ooh, this needs to go in dirt. What happens? And poof, we got cannabis. And I'm like, magic,
True magic.
It smells so good and it tastes so good, especially when it's from the plant. It's different when you dry it.
Yes.
It's just like, if you were to consume wine, there's only certain way of doing that works well, you would think. But if you ever notice where wine comes from, they grow.
They're crazy.
The different smells. It's just so you feel almost like wealthy just walking around them and touching them and looking at them and playing with them. And it's like, this is the best ever.
It really is watching magic happen before your eyes. I mean, to start with such a tiny seed, to watch it grow into such a huge plant. And I love watching the transformations too, the going from vegetative stage to the flowering stage. And you're like, oh, she's blooming. And it's just, you're proud of yourself. You're proud of the flower. And then, at the end, you are going to you're getting medicine that you grew yourself. There's no better feeling.
Yeah. Totally. And I was actually surprised by, because I was when I was little, everyone was like, oh, look at the flowers are blooming. I'm like, where?
What? Yeah.
What are you talking about? You're getting really happy. I'm happy too. Yeah, honey, you're going to be happy. All right. I'm happy.
Okay, perfect. There's so much to learn about growing cannabis. We always say the word flower, but for a lot of people, they're like, what? There's not I don't see a flower. And it's good to mention that because it's definitely a learning curve the first time you do it.
Oh, for sure. And the different types of cannabis that are out there and how differently they grow.
Yes.
Man, it's like night and day. It's like trying to, go, oh, well, I have squash and peppers and pumpkins and they're all fruit, right? But they're all going to grow a little differently. They all have different smells and different tastes, different time periods even that they go from start to finish.
Yes.
And the different, colors,
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know how colorful cannabis was.
So cool. And sometimes even from strain to strain, they can be so different. It's unbelievable.
One of the ones that I grew, it had green, dark green, brown, gray, and silver in it.
Oh, how beautiful.
Oh, and when it was blooming, it almost had like a purple tinge around the edge.
Oh, so pretty.
Oh man, you are just gonna be so good.
Yes. Yes. And then I mean, like, there's just like that self-sufficiency, like proudness that comes into and be like, I did this and I can take care of myself. I can make my own medicine and I'm actually Superwoman.
It feels great, knowing that, it's such a productive plant. You can get so many things out of one plant. It's like, we're just picking this one thing. No, man. We're getting the whole deal. Like we are. What are we going to do with all of that? That's a lot. That's the idea.
That's the point. Yes.
Use all of it, And I was like, we can make tea out of this. We can press the leaves and, get some oils out of this. Oh my gosh. What?
It's such a fun, then it becomes a fun hobby too. Growing it is the hobby and then processing it is a whole nother hobby. It really can take up a lot of your time.
Oh yeah. Drying can take days or even weeks, depending upon what the cut of the plant is and where it is in, the season. Each flower responds differently to things like heat or light, and you can do a whole lot with just those small little changes and turn a meal into something just wow.
Let's talk about the kitchen. What are your favorite things to prepare? What have you learned and what do you want to share with others?
Gosh. So at the beginning, I started pretty much like everybody else. Let's just throw sugar in it and call it good because that's easy, right? Well, I like to try a little bit more than just sugar because I figure that's okay, but it's not very filling and not everybody can have sugar, right? I got a lot of friends and family that are diabetic or have some other health issues where they're trying to cut down because, kidneys or whatever. Like, okay, I'm not trying to kill you, sweetheart. Let's just use some cannabis and we'll be good to go.
Yes.
So I learned how to, break it down to where I can actually cook it in my everyday meals.
Perfect. Tell us a little bit about this because a lot of people think, I can make brownies or I have to make cookies, but how do you incorporate it into your everyday lifestyle?
Well, I almost said it was easy, but it's become easy, because there's so many different forms that cannabis takes. There's the actual flower, which you can break down like rosemary and add to a finish on top of like fish, chicken. Or like if you're doing a barbecue, you can put that in as a last touch over the barbecue. You want to do a sous vide, that's great. Just throw that in right on top of whatever you're sous videing, and that temp will just get right to where it needs to break down for you. And when you consume it, it'll be in the food. There's no middleman, no extra chemicals, no wait time. It's instant. It goes in your system and you feel way better. So, I mean, I showed my daughter who, she's now 22. So, that's a good age, right?
Yeah.
Showed my daughter how to, break it down so that way she can cook too.
How fun. You teaching your daughter.
Yep. So yesterday she showed her boyfriend how to infuse hoagies. So we had steak and cheddar hoagies.
Yum.
With au jus dipping sauce.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
The whole thing was infused. The bread, the meat, the cheese, the sauce.
Oh my gosh. Tell me how you did each one.
Okay, so the bread was simple. We just, put like a little bit of oil on the bread so it sunk right in. The cheese was really easy. You just put a little distillate on there, good to go. steak, we use actual flour flake, and we put that in with the marinade. So it literally sunk into the meat itself, right? Intense,
Yes.
right? Now the au jus, because everybody was having a little bit, I only put a little bit of CBD into the au jus sauce. And, so it tastes like au jus. It looks like au jus. It works like au jus, but you're getting CBD au jus.
Oh, amazing. Oh my gosh, I'm so hungry.
Can you believe that something like that could be accomplished in the kitchen with cannabis?
It's amazing. How did you feel afterwards?
Oh my gosh, I wasn't hurting, that's for sure.
It's a beautiful thing.
It felt like I could actually go shopping at Walmart for 3 hours and not feel like I just got go shopping at Walmart for 3 hours.
Yes, absolutely.
Not that anybody volunteers for that, but
we all got to do it.
We all got to do it, know.
And so cannabis can make it easier.
Always, not just that, but also like the vibe in the kitchen is chill.
Yes.
The interaction, everybody is low key. You're not feeling like you need to be anxious, like you can't breathe, or, and you're constantly thinking about, okay, where's my exit? I need an exit. Exit anybody. Because the downside of having PTSD is also being hypervigilant. You're always like worried. Okay, can I go? Do I have to stay? I just want to go. Can I go? Yeah. And it takes that feeling away, so that way, or at least, subsides it enough so that way I can actually spend time, with my family, my friends, my workmates, myself even.
Yeah.
If I go out and do anything, it's like, okay, I can go out.
Oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it's like my passport for being able to move about freely in my space. It's something that, I genuinely enjoy on multiple levels.
I'm so glad that you and cannabis have found each other. Did you find cannabis immediately after you got out of the service, or had you dabbled before and were you excited to come back to it?
I dabbled before because that was one of the things that my family actually grew. My grandfather had some issues with arthritis, and he couldn't take aspirin. So he would have cannabis tea.
Oh.
And I got that from him. And I was like,
sweet.
Well, shoot, if that does that for him, savez,
Yes, absolutely.
As soon as I got out of the military, I started, working, locally here in Washington State to make it legal, talking to the senators and talking to the congressmen and writing, our officials' letters and, dealing with the public and talking to locals and, hey, guys, what do you think about having this? And they're like, when? It wasn't how or if or where. It's like, can we do this now? Why haven't we been doing this entire time? And once those laws were passed and implemented, they scattershot over the first 6 months as to how they would work and who they would apply to and how they would apply. A mess. But once it all got sorted, it got way better. And now anyone over the age of 21 can easily go into any cannabis shop, recreational, and help themselves to some cannabis.
That's amazing. Now, what?
In so many forms. They offer seeds, they offer leaf, they offer pre-rolls, they offer distillate and cartridges. And if you like to dab, they have different dabbing stuff. There's sugar and crystals and crumble, and then there's like, they have their own little drinks and stuff.
Yes.
Some are sugar, some are sugar free. They even have Tabasco now that has, there's cannabis infused, like if you're having some muscle aches or cream, they have that too. If you want some cannabis lip balm, we've got you. If you need some cannabis lubricant, little naughty in the bedroom to share with your whatevers, right?
I give a vouch for the lube.
cannabis lube, and
Yes.
it's skin safe and sensitive skin friendly.
If anybody out there is curious, I highly recommend it. It's definitely worth trying.
It's an amazing product. I can't put on any sort of makeup. I'm not sure if you can tell. My lighting sucks. But I can't wear anything. Not even that mineral stuff that they say is supposed to be good for you. I am too sensitive to it. Mm-hmm. But cannabis on my skin, in my body. I even use it for my hair to bring body to my hair.
Oh my gosh, it's so amazing.
It's like the best product. And
does all the things.
It's also really awesome too, because it helps our economy. A lot of people don't realize it helps us. It helps everyone, the folks that can afford it to the folks that can't. Everyone, should be able to benefit from it, across the board.
Absolutely. And it's amazing that you got out there to actually do the work to make it legal so that people could access it. That is amazing. Good for you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I figured if we can outlaw things like hemp to make cotton a thing, just so that way slave ownership was a deal, why don't we change our methodology and do it so that way everyone can benefit and everyone can reap from the reward? I don't see why we can't just use all of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing to see Washington is one of the most progressive states now that we have. And that, is really a standard that hopefully the whole country can get to.
That would be perfect. Not just legally. Okay. Because I am a very big proponent on making sure that we're all protected whenever we're using whatever product we're using, but also I don't think that it should be limited based off of just interest or intellect. Yeah. That it should be available to everyone, everywhere, at an affordable rate.
Yes.
Because it's so easy to grow. It grows almost as fast as bamboo.
Everybody can just put a seed in the ground. I know a lot of people think that they can't, but it's a weed. It will grow. It's really, really resilient.
And that's the other benefit too. You can literally grow it anywhere, just like dandelions. Okay. They're related, believe it or not. And they have similar healing properties. They're both used for medicine. Crazy, huh?
It's amazing. And to think that we could literally just turn around, put a seed in the ground, make your own medicine, save money. I want that to be an option for everybody.
That would be great.
Well,
especially since there's so many ways to use it, consume it.
Yeah, so many people think it's limited to smoking. You just listed off a million things that you can get at the dispensary that have nothing to do with smoking.
There's more. There's also transdermal patches for people that
you have those in dispense. I've never seen one in the wild.
Oh, honey, we have them in different grades and different types. There's 1-to-1. So if you want THC and CBD, there's just THC. There's just CBD. There's CBG. There's CBH. There's so many different variants out there, and each patch tells you what it does and what it's good for. So there's no question about why you're using it. All the patches, they last up to 8 hours of active medicine use. That's more than any over-the-counter patch.
Yeah. I think the patches are the next big thing for people with chronic pain.
Oh, yeah. It's been fantastic. They came up with an application that is skin friendly, and being that I have very sensitive skin, I'm really careful about, losing any. So I like to make sure I use products that aren't going to hurt me. Right. And I definitely wouldn't suggest it to anyone if I was having any issues. But since my skin is really sensitive, I like to use the patches. It comes in handy, especially when I'm traveling. It doesn't have any smell. No one is going to go, oh, you're wearing a patch. I should probably, treat you differently.
Yeah.
Plus, did I mention it lasts over 8 hours?
I know. It's amazing. It's incredible.
Here's another little known fact that a lot of people don't realize. As long as that patch is within contact of your skin, even if the main dose is already dispensed into your system, the low doses of it will still go into your system as long as you have it on your skin.
Oh my gosh. That is like, I feel like it's a product of the future. And I'm in New York State. We're recreationally legal here, but we don't have dispensaries. We have nothing like that. I mean, I've not seen anything on the marketplace like that. I think it's so exciting. I've heard of transdermal patches, but I've not, even in a medical dispensary, I've not seen them here in New York.
Yeah, the company that carries it here is Mary Mary's.
I feel like I've heard of that.
They've been around for over 12 years.
Oh, so nice.
Yeah. So check them out. See if maybe you can start pulling some leads over there to get things like that. I couldn't fathom not having a dispensary here. Just the idea of not being able to, go and get what I need to make myself feel better. That's like a nightmare.
Right? It's crazy. I mean, then you think about people living in other states like Texas, where, I mean, they'll literally go to jail for trying to medicate. It's so crazy.
Yeah. And not to mention the fact, you can't transfer it from other states. So I can't travel to see my mom, in another state because Idaho is a bad place to go for folks that really, and it's so messed up with Idaho specifically, where like they are encouraged to purchase it from other states, just as long as they don't use it publicly. They have to use it at home. There is no other way. And I'm like, okay, so how does that work?
It's crazy.
You want me to drive to Canada to get cannabis just to consume it in Boise? Come again? How is this helping me? And not to mention the fact that if I get caught going to, say, Washington or Oregon or any other state that does have it, I could still get arrested for having it.
It's crazy.
How is that helping me? Is that benefiting society? Is that benefiting the economy? Is that benefiting the family? Or
that's what I don't get, is it doesn't benefit even like the general economy. It doesn't benefit the general society. There's really truly no benefit. That's why it's like mind blowing. Yeah.
So here in Washington State, dispensaries are about as common as a pharmacy.
Yeah.
You can find one pretty much every corner, or at least every city has at least one dispensary in it, and they're open throughout the week.
So the way it should be, just like a pharmacy.
Dude, the one I really favor, they're open at 8:00 in the morning and they close after midnight, 7 days a week.
That's amazing.
Well, I mean, we got really good staff. They get paid more than minimum wage. They get offered benefits for, going up the, proverbial ladder, as it were. It's not a dead end job.
Yeah.
And they're serving the community. So they're definitely not going to have to worry about being unemployed anytime soon.
Definitely not. It's funny. I actually was just talking. I did an interview with a girl who was a bud tender, and she was talking about how much she loved her job and being able to help people and feel like she really helped people working in the dispensary. And it's kind of full circle for everybody who visits and works there. It's really a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I talk quite a bit with the vendors that distribute the cannabis to dispensaries. And they were telling me how, like, at the beginning, they had maybe one Rubbermaid container for an entire store. And now they have trucks unloading, with multiple people bringing in multiple containers, and they're all filled to the hilt. And every time they get a delivery, that's once a week. All those things are gone in 6 days.
It's crazy. But it makes me happy to think about how many people are like getting the medicine they need on a weekly basis. That makes me feel better.
So because of medical laws here, I can purchase upwards of, 3.5 pounds
Wow. That's a lot.
There's no limit.
That's
As
crazy.
long as I have the money, they don't care.
The way it should be. It's not like they should ever put a limit on somebody's any other medication.
Exactly. And I can't conceive of an idea why they would try to, but because of not having enough education into all the things that it provides and all the people everywhere could benefit from it on like every level.
Yes.
You know, everyone between, you know, breathing issues to, you know, just functioning issues, anxiety issues, sleeping problems, moving problems, eating problems, psychological issues. Trust me, I'm totally there. You know, and it's helped me a lot with all those things. And since I can't take regular medication, it has been the game changer for me. You know, the VA cannot legally prescribe cannabis because it's not federally recognized yet. As soon as it does, man, I can't wait.
I wanted to ask you, I want to be respectful of your time as we get to the end of this interview, but I did want to ask you, do you have any recommendations for any veterans or active service members who might be listening, who are wondering if cannabis is something they should try? Do you have any suggestions for them on what they should do moving forward?
Well, honestly, you know, I would do some research, you know, find out what your happy place is, just like you would trying out a new medication. If you're not sure, start small. You know, don't go delving through the entire bag of gummies because they tasted so good. Honey, you're going to be in the ER within less than an hour because you're freaking out.
Yes.
It's okay. It doesn't have to be scary. And it's not going to be an immediate thing. You're not going to get like you see in movies or TV where there's like this constant, you know, inability to behave or inability to think or inability to do anything. It does not work that way at all. You know, 10 milligrams is a really great place to start, regardless of how you decide to dose. If smoking doesn't work because of health issues, and oftentimes a lot of us folks have been through the military, our lungs are not that great. So, you know, if you want to do eating, awesome. Start with flour or even distillate, you know, but start small. And then work yourself up to where, you know is going to work. Keep track of, just like you take a prescription, keep track of how much you're using so that way you can continue to do that throughout your day. You know, and that way when you go see your provider or talk to your counselor or spend time with your family and they check and see where you're at on things, you'd be like, you know what? I thought it was going to be kind of hard. It's actually super easy. I have no regrets.
Awesome. That is such great advice. Thank you so much for sharing that. And now, is it okay? Can I ask you the same 4 questions I ask all of our guests?
Sure.
All right. The first one up, what are you most proud of in your life?
Being able to see my age and raising 3 wonderful children.
Gosh, parenting is so hard, and to be able to feel like you've done it successfully has got to be the best.
Oh, man, you know, and being a single mom off and on throughout that because of career or other choices, I have no regrets in them at all. I am blessed and happy. You know, I couldn't have asked for a better trio, you know, as far as kids go, you know. Honestly say it's not for everyone. As far as, you know, being a parent, it is a lifelong choice. It's not something you just pick up one day and decide to put down the next.
Yeah.
You know, but it was definitely life-changing for me.
Oh, absolutely. Now, this is everybody's least favorite question. What would your life look like without cannabis?
I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be able to do me. Before I was using cannabis the way that I am now, I wasn't able to leave my home. I couldn't interact with my kids. I had a hard time moving. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't eat. And I was always worried all the time. So yeah, I wouldn't be here.
Oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you have cannabis, and thank you for sharing that with us, because that's always a hard question. If you could go back.
That was a fun one. I like that.
Good. Okay, good.
I nailed this for you, honey. No worries. I got
perfect. If you could go back 10, 20, 30 years ago, give yourself a piece of advice related to cannabis, what would it be?
Invest.
Oh, that's a good one.
Invest. Because
in cannabis specifically?
Cannabis specifically, because it's marketable more than just economically. It's also marketable environmentally.
Yes,
Cannabis is a growing plant. It provides oxygen. And since we have no sense about how to, do anything about the environment, pushing in a lot more things that bring in oxygen are a benefit to the world. Not just us, not just local, everyone, everywhere.
That is perfect advice. Very last question. If you could be remembered for just one thing in the cannabis space, what would it be?
Oh, big time supporter. I'm a huge advocate. I will advocate cannabis until I die.
Thank you so much for doing that here with me today. I really appreciate it. I hope that, just the right people hear your advice, your wisdom, your story, and get the confidence they need to bring cannabis into their lives and feel as amazing as you do now. So thank you so much for sharing everything you did here with us today. I really appreciate it. Any last words of wisdom before we go?
I can't really think of anything ridiculously witty. Outside of, if you think it's too hard to get, it's not. It's not too expensive. It's easy to grow. You can do it in your kitchen, your closet, your backyard, your storage, your shelter, your car, wherever it is that you call home. Cannabis has a place for you, and you have a place with cannabis.
My gosh, that's a perfect way to end this. Thank you so much for joining us, Dusty. I really appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me.
Congratulations. You've finished another episode of the Well with Cannabis podcast and are one step closer to discovering how you too can live well with cannabis. Thank you for listening in today. We hope this episode has been a helpful and informative one. Please visit emilykylenutrition.com for more information on today's show notes, guest information, recipes, and other resources. If you want more support and encouragement on your cannabis journey, please consider joining the private Well with Cannabis community. In this group, you can connect with like-minded individuals focused on improving their health and wellness through cannabis. Join the group today to continue your journey of wellness together at emilykylenutrition.com.